How's it going, everyone? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the best ways to find a trio for the remainder of Season 6 and for Season 7. We know that trios will be going until the end of 2021, so this is a perfect time to find the right trio. So within this video, I'm going to be covering 7 to 8 steps to find your God trio. So, get into it. Step number 1. So the first thing you should be doing before you even start looking for a third or a duo or two people, whatever, is to analyze your own skills and know what you bring to the table. Are you a good fighter? Are you good at rotating early game but you're weaker end game? Are you good end game but weaker early? Are you good at fighting mid game? Are you good at finding surge? Are you good at positioning, game knowledge? Figure out all your strengths and all your weaknesses before you start looking for a trio. That's number 1. Number 2 is finding any friends that you already have chemistry with. Do you have any friends that play Fortnite that don't really play competitively, but you feel are good enough to play? Or they do play competitively, but they have never really thought about taking it seriously or something along the lines of that. Chemistry is most important for these trio events because it's what keeps the trio together when times get tough. That's what's important. And it's also because once you have built good chemistry with your trio members, it also makes the game fun, which is important because if you're having a good time and you're vibing out, then you'll probably end up playing better than if you were just sweating. So look within your friend group or people that you are acquaintances with or whatever that you already have some basis of chemistry with before outsourcing to Discord or other steps, which I'll explain below. So step number 3 is using Fortnite Tracker to assess your skill. So if you don't know what Fortnite Tracker is, it's a website where basically you can type in your IGN or anybody's IGN and it'll give you a bunch of stats about your Fortnite account and your skill and everything like that. So you can, most importantly, it has PR, and PR stands for Power Ranking, and that's a point system created by the website, which basically grants you points based on your performance in certain tournaments. So I'm pretty sure Bragging Rights doesn't give you any PR, but Cash Cups and FNCS and tournaments like that do. So it's really, it's a decent way for assessing skill. It's kind of, the numbers can be inflated because I don't think it has a way to see just the current season, which I think is important because past metas have changed completely. I mean, I love Boga, he's a great player, but he won the World Cup and then he didn't even make grands this season. I know Sweaty Sands, crazy shit happens, but that's just a great example for the different skills of different seasons and everything like that. So I think you should really be focused on how they placed last season or just how they are as a player. If you're going to look at PR, it can also be inflated due to playverses. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically this tournament for high school and college players that you only face off against other people in high school or whatever, or in college. And personally, I think the PR given in playverse is way too much. You can get way too much PR if you place well in playverse. Not saying that you don't earn the PR, but I just think it's way too inflated for how difficult the playverse matches are. That's just my opinion. But the numbers can also be deflated. So you might have a player that hasn't played in a few seasons or has never really taken competitive that serious and just fucks around with his friends. And, he might have 50 PR, but then you fight him in creative and he's a fucking goat. You play with him in arena and he's fucking fragging. So take the information from Fortnite Tracker with a grain of salt because it does not show direct skill. That's important. I might have only 300 PR or like 400 PR, and that's because I just fuck around in tournaments and have a good time. So that's why you want to, I've beaten kids with 2K PR, 5K, 10K PR in realistics and arena and everything like that. So it's important that PR should only give you like a rough idea. It shouldn't be, what breaks it or makes it. So step number 4 is identifying what type of players you are looking for. So if we go back to step number 1, you identified, your own skill and what you're lacking. So what you should look for are other people that will fill in the places that you're lacking. So you can get like a nice solid team. So examples, let's say you are somebody who are really good at endgame and, you're great at positioning, tarping, everything like that. But you're a little bit lackluster fighting early in mid game. It's iffy if you're going to make it out. If you get into engagement, you get nervous or whatever. So you probably need somebody, a fragger, which means somebody who is good at fighting that might lack the game knowledge endgame. And then let's say, you're fragger, then you're the fragger and you're good at fighting, but you lack the knowledge endgame, so, you might need an IGL. And then there's a third role for trios, and this one's kind of iffy, Okay, you can be a support player, and that doesn't mean you're shit at fighting and shit at thinking. It just means that you are better when you're supporting your team, and that's completely okay, and it's completely needed. Or you can have another fragger, or it can just be somebody who is good at everything. You know, he's a co-IGL, he can fight, and he's good at, you know, sitting back and finding angles and spraying or whatever. So you really need to look for those three, but the best trios are the ones that every player can kind of dip their toe in each role. So they can IGL if they have to, they can frag if they have to, they can support if they have to. So the best case scenario is you find 3 members or 2 members, because you'll be one of them, that are kind of good at everything. You know, they might lack a little bit in their IGLing, but they make up for it in their fragging. That should be the goal, is to, you know, find 2 other players, good chemistry, who are good at basically everything, which, you know, is going to be difficult. But a good thing is that you can find players that have good potential. So somebody who is, you know, a little bit lackluster in their decision making, but they're good at taking criticism and they want to generally improve. And with those people, you can, you know, build them up and make them into somebody who is good at everything. So step 5, this is actually now looking for people. So in my opinion, the best way to find members is through Discord servers. Now, you probably already know of this, but I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that will help you. I'm going to link a fuck ton of Discord servers in the description. There's going to be more of them, but the idea is that you go to the left side of Discord, you scroll down until you find the looking for group channel. Then within that channel, you will put your preferred requirements for a trio member. Also within this channel, you can read other messages from other people and see that maybe if you or your duo fit into this category, or if you want to see if they want to take a shot. So, you know, people will message looking for 1 NA East, IGL, 200 PR, something like that. You send them a message, and then you guys meet up and whatever. So now I'm going to talk about step 6, which is, you know, in order to figure out if the player you have selected or the duo or whatever is a good fit in your trio. I recommend playing creative a bit, just warming up together, vibing out, getting like a rough idea on how good these guys are. And then some arena games, you know. Play 3, at the very least play 3, okay? Have room for some fuck ups, see what happens when you guys die off rip. So land the very hottest of drop, one of the games, maybe not the first one, the second or the third one. And if you guys die off the rip, see what happens, see how you react, see how your team reacts, everything like that. Max I recommend is about 10ish. If you guys win your first game, keep playing. Don't be like, all right, we're good, let's hop into scrims. So let's say you play, you know, 8 games, and then you go, all right, you know, we're feeling pretty good. Like, I kind of like how the vibes are. Let's finish off with some trio scrims. So play some scrims. If you guys don't have a drop spot, that's fine. Just, you know, test out some places around the map. And the whole point of this is just to get an idea on how the general vibe is going to be. Now, some red flags. You should immediately not drop, but, you know, be nice about it and say, hey, sorry, dude, I don't think you're a good fit. And that's it. So red flags number 1. The new member constantly blames anybody but themselves for the outcome of the match. There's a difference between like constructive criticism where they say, hey man, I think you could have done this better and this. And then there's, you know, oh, like, what the fuck are you doing? I told you to move this way. Like, what are you doing? Like, see, notice the difference? One of them is trying to help you get better, and the other one's trying to put you down. So if that happens within like any of the games, just be like, hey dude, this isn't a good fit. That's it. Another one is that if they get extremely tilted and or upset from dying in arena or in the scrims or in whatever happens, you have to remember this is a game, and unless you're at the very, very top, and even if you're up there, you have to make sure that you keep the vibe of the trio good, because if one person gets tilted, then the other 2 will get tilted too, and the whole vibe will go down, and then that's it. I've been in tons of trios where one person gets upset, and then they bring down the entire vibe. So if you are somebody who gets upset like that, just, you know, right before you start tilting or whatever, just mute your mic, or just, you know, it's a game, dude. Calm down. So all of this, you should not only gauge the new member skill based on their mechanics, everything, but also how well they fit into the trio. So I've found players who, you know, were 100% better than me and my duo, and they were just really good players, but their whole vibe was completely off. They either weren't talking a lot, maybe they were shy or whatever, or they were, you know, talking too much, talking over us. You know, they were just didn't match the vibes that we wanted to have, and it didn't feel like there was a potential for us to find good chemistry together. Even though they were really good players, I just told them straight up, like, hey man, you're a great player, but we just don't think the vibes are right, and that's why we're just going to continue looking for somebody else. It's important, this is a little note, that you want to make sure that you are nice when you're letting people go. You don't want to be toxic. You don't want to just ghost them, because you never know. You know, this guy might become famous on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and you know, you're still kind of friends with them. You want to make sure you keep all your options open and keep your connections intact. And not only that, you know, just be a nice person. You don't have to be toxic about it. I mean, it's rude. No reason not to. So on the topic of chemistry and everything like that, you should really be trying to build your chemistry within like the first week of playing together. You know, playing creative arena scrims, some 3v3s, chilling in the call after you're done practicing, fighting together, W keying, playing other games together, you know, playing duos with somebody else, playing, you know, solos all in the call, whatever, playing ladders together. You should just be trying to build the chemistry, have a good environment, a good trio environment, a good vibe, you know, just all around just having a good time. That's very, very important. So that it concludes on how to find a COD trio. And you really should, you know, the only other thing I can add is don't be afraid to take a chance on somebody. Okay, I've, you know, messaged people who had 50 PR, and you know, they said, oh, I haven't played competitive in a while, but I'm a creative warrior. And then okay, you know, we play arena together and we just win. We win like our first 3 games, so like 20, 30 kills. We're just absolutely popping off. We're going to scrims, we're fucking dominating, everything like that. Don't be afraid to take chances on people, because it isn't just about the very first or second tournament you play together. It's about the third, the fourth, the fifth, and all the future tournaments. Because if you guys have good vibes and everything, good vibes, good chemistry, you know, you guys enjoy playing together, then you will do well eventually in some tournaments. So I guess that kind of ties into my last point, which is, you know, don't leave after the first tournament or the first ladder or the first fuck up, okay? Because, you know, you guys are human. You guys will have bad chemistry when the times get tough, and that's why you have to build good chemistry, or you're constantly going to be finding a new third and constantly be having those bad chemistry moments, and that's it. The cycle's just going to repeat. So hopefully this helps you find, you know, your God trio, your perm trio for the next whatever seasons trios have. But, you know, just keep your eyes open for people, take chances on people, try them out. At the very least, you make a friend, and I mean, that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. My next 3 videos will be breaking down the competitive roles. I say that with like quotation marks, because the roles are kind of loose, I guess you would say. So I'm going to be doing IGL next, Fragger, support, and maybe I'll throw Typer in with IGL as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You know, keep your eyes open. Sorry for the lack of videos. I've had some exams. I've been watching FNCS and everything. So yeah, cheers.